For millions of Americans who experience a heart attack or worry about having one, new research presented at the American College of Cardiology 74th Annual Scientific Session and Expo offers an important update in prevention. Joining us to tell us more is nationally recognized cardiologist Dr. Matthew Budoff. Dr. Budoff, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. Doctor, what role does inflation play in heart disease and why is it often overlooked?
Yeah, so inflammation is one of those things that if it gets into your joints, you get arthritis and pain. If it gets into the arteries around the heart, you might not feel it, but it can cause heart attacks and strokes. It causes the plaque to build up, and that plaque can break off and cause a urgent heart attack or stroke. So inflammation is really important as a cause of heart disease.
Now, how does a person know if they have inflammation?
So it requires a blood test, and that's why it's often overlooked, is if you don't do the blood test, you won't know you have it. So you don't feel bad by having inflammation, just like you don't feel bad by having necessarily high blood pressure or even high cholesterol. You have to test for those things to know if they're causing damage to the body.
Now, what did the EKSTROM trial reveal about low dose impact? I can't pronounce the word. I'm going to let you pronounce it. Impact on artery health.
Yeah, so the drug that we studied is called colchicine. It's actually been around for decades. It's actually a medicine that we use for gout for many, many years. And that's at high dose. What we did is said, well, if it works for gout and massive inflammation in the joints, maybe we could use it in a low dose to see if it impacts the heart. So the EKSTROM trial was a trial that we did that looked at plaque in the arteries. We measured plaque in the arteries. We followed patients for a year and put them on either low dose colchicine, which is just one tablet a day, zero point 0.5 milligrams, or placebo, and followed them for a year, and then did another scan to see, is the plaque getting worse or not? And those patients taking colchicine actually had improvement in their plaque as compared to those patients who were not taking colchicine. So we saw it slow down the plaque in the arteries, potentially leading to less heart attacks and strokes down the road.
Colchicine. I got to remember that. How can this once daily medication support people already taking statins or blood pressure meds?
Yeah, so statins lower your cholesterol, and that's important. Blood pressure medicines control your blood pressure, so that's important. Colchicine can control the inflammation, and that's going to be important. So we have three different risk factors that we can control, but these are additive. These are on top of other therapies. So if we have high blood pressure, we have to stay on our high blood pressure medication to control it, but we can now add colchicine if we also have inflammation to control that. Because remember, the number one cause of death in the US for men and women is heart attacks. So we really want to make sure that we minimize that risk so that we can live longer and healthier lives.
Definitely. What makes this anti-inflammatory approach different from traditional therapies?
Yeah, so we focused on things that we call reversible or treatable risk factors: diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol. Now we have inflammation that we can attack as well, and we can treat the inflammation with a drug like colchicine and reduce the inflammation and hopefully have people living longer and better.
Now, doctor, where can we go to learn more?
Yeah, so there's a great website. It has information about my study that I did with looking at plaque. We also have uh, 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 information about inflammation, and we have information about the colchicine drug itself. It's at cvdinflammation.com. So cvdinflammation.com.
Doctor, before we go, I'd just like to hear a little bit more about the American College of Cardiology 74th Annual Scientific Session at Expo. Tell us about that and how important is that to the health community?
Yeah, so we get together, the cardiologists in America get together a couple times a year. This is one of our biggest meetings of the year. It was in Chicago this year, and we present science to each other and we learn from each other so that we can then apply those new therapies to our patients when we get back to practice. So it's a really important conference for exchanging ideas and information and presenting new science so that we can continue to get better at treating the number one cause of death, which is heart attacks.
Doctor, that sounds like some of the venture cafe and the startup innovation meetings they have. You guys been doing it for years. This is the 74th one. They need to learn more from you guys. That's what needs to happen.
We're always learning. You always got to keep learning, right? There's always new science coming out and new studies, and that's the great thing about medicine is that we keep moving forward.
That's right. Doctor, thank you again for joining us on Morning Blend and giving us important information. I really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.